Okay, so officially, welcome everybody, and thanks for joining on this Siebel Friday, the first Siebel Friday webinar ever. It's a free, educational, hopefully fun 1 hour or maybe longer bidirectional talk in all terms of Siebel. So I have a bit of an agenda for today, not too much. First, I'm going to talk about news with regards to the Siebel Hub, because we have been very busy, Richard and I, over Christmas and New Year, and there's lots of new stuff you can find and probably have not found yet on the Siebel Hub. So that's where we get started. And then we'll talk about Siebel 20.12, 21.1, and see what a new project of mine on GitHub can do for developers. And I've brought up the new knowledge page, Siebel CRM 2021 training. Yeah, we're really proud to announce that it's the first time in the past 5 years that there's a current curriculum available. Current as in the terms that you really have the last update when you want it. So there's no Siebel 15 training or whatsoever. It's Siebel 2021 training. So when you take the training today, you get Siebel 21.1. Richard and I have been very busy recording videos, putting together materials, and we have found that there are two ways of training really in these days, especially with the pandemic. Of course, it's going to be remote, so it's either live online, like this webinar. We use GoToMeeting or some other software, and we can connect around the world and have a live instructor training. That is, of course, a very expensive option for a lot of people. They cannot just afford paying 4 digits per day. And that is what big corporations, of course, do. So if you work for a big Siebel customer or for a systems integrator, then you might just want to take a look on the knowledge page and check out the individual offerings we have. So I'm going to highlight it a little bit, but not going into too much detail. So we have the Siebel 2021 workshop, for example, which is the What's New workshop. So if you come from Siebel 15, 16, and want to learn everything that you need to become a real Siebel 21 consultant or developer or administrator, this is the workshop for you. And this is our prime offering, and we offer it in instructor-led, remote, or as a recorded video series. And this really is something I want to show you. We have been advertising it a bit on Twitter and LinkedIn and through newsletters, and you might have gotten the newsletter. So the modular version of that workshop is really starting, let's say, at €5 per download. You can download each individual module and lab document and PowerPoint document individually by following the instructions here. On top of that, we have free continuous updates. So if there's anything new, you can watch a video for free on YouTube, or you can purchase the materials. And very often, if you have subscribed, so to speak, to one module, you get the updates for free. Yeah, speaking of updates, we are planning to update this very shortly if the rumors and news are true about the next Siebel versions, there are going to be a lot of updates in this. But take a look and feel free to watch the trailer and watch the free videos on YouTube. In total, it's really not kidding. In total, it's more than 1,000 pages of presentations and exercise guides, and 15 hours and more of video, including, for example, a full self-study of Siebel OpenUI. So Siebel OpenUI Basics and Siebel OpenUI Professional is available as full self-study PDF with exercises. You can rent, if you don't have any sandbox, you can rent a sandbox from the Siebel Hub and run through the labs. So there's nothing holding you back really learning on the latest information of Siebel and not using outdated bookshelves or outdated training documents. So yeah, this is something that, of course, as you can imagine, keeps us quite busy. So we have, at this point in time, we have 8 different training options. So see the tiles here. Yeah, there's the Siebel workshop, the modular version, the OpenUI Basics, OpenUI Professional. There's an upgrade workshop if you want to prepare your team for the big Siebel 21 upgrade you're planning. Consider this one. We're very proud to have a developer class, a 10-day developer class again. And very happy to say and actually tell you that customers are buying this class and obviously training new personnel. New hires are trained on Siebel. This is something that is really exciting. And also we have an administrator class and there's a public sector class, so special topic here. And you see there's some spaces to fill, so watch this space for future development. And the other thing that kept us busy is the YouTube channel. So the Siebel Hub YouTube channel was there for a long time, and it was kind of a wasteland, was not really used at all. And we decided to breathe some life into it. And so we put up over the past 2 months some videos, starting, for example, with a playlist on Siebel 20.10 plus update. So there's a monthly update, and for each monthly update, there's a short video, but nonetheless informational. And I see that the view numbers are up again, so that is great. So take a moment to visit the Siebel Hub, subscribe, like, comment, you know, the drill on these videos. Let's check out the playlists real quick. So the last 2 playlists is the 2021 updates we plan for a monthly video here, and we have published a free Siebel 2021 migration application playlist. Oh, it starts playing, sorry. And this is, you see, from setting up the migration application, demonstrating synchronous migration for everything like list of values, application data service, OpenUI, JS manifest, etc. So again, that's free, totally free, and it's a service of the Siebel Hub, and it of course complements the training on the Siebel Hub a little bit. Yeah, quite some stuff here on the Siebel Hub as well, so make sure you take some time and check out the videos and the playlist. Okay, so yeah, that's it for news on the Siebel Hub. I don't see anything in the chat, so you're just listening in. And but do you have any questions about training, or you want to have a longer chat about training? Just let me know. Send me an email, or all right. So yeah, the next thing in this Siebel Friday that I planned for is to take a look at the 2 recent Siebel updates. Of course, there's a video you can watch, but it's Siebel Friday, so let's talk about the latest developments in Siebel. And so we talk about 20.12 because that was really a big one last December, and 21.1, which is, you probably got your hands on it, so maybe. Okay, Remco says you played around with 20.12. Christian is stuck on 20.11. Samuel says upgraded to 20.12. Okay, that's great. Guru is live on 20.6 on good ground. I see there's no Siebel 19 in the chat. And yeah, of course, if you're like Frank says, you're preparing to go live with 20.8, you're probably in the middle of an upgrade and you just don't have time to play around with 20.12. So maybe a good reason to join the Siebel Fridays or look into the YouTube videos. And of course, there's more. If you like on 20.8 or 20.6 even, then there's like seven updates already since 20.6. And so there's a lot of ground to cover. And using the Siebel Hub material, the Siebel Hub training, and also the free YouTube videos, you can catch up literally, and you're not taken by surprise by any features or removal of features. So let's look into 20.12. So the highlights are the workflow editor is again in the browser. I like to say again here because some of us are old enough to have lived through the waves of moving the workflow editor to a browser and back to Siebel Tools, and then to the browser again just last month. The REST API has a minor enhancement, which is the sort specification, clinical trials. I'm not going to talk about this, but that's another feature here. And one feature was actually be removed from the roadmap, which is the constraint engine, ACT. There's a nice screenshot. I'm not going to demonstrate it. There's not enough time, and the demo gods are not in my favor, probably. But the workflow editor has arrived in WebTools. It's like a first version of it, but it's actually quite good, I have to say. I've used it myself already. Most of the stuff is very similar to Siebel tools. Most of it, as usual, there are some changes. For example, the first thing you miss are the connectors in the palette. So you're kind of panicking. So where are my connectors? And the connectors are now dragged from one step to the other, like more natural thing. But you have to be very, very fine with your mouse. You have to find the connection points and connect those. But it has, of course, all the migration to OpenUI. So all the pick applets, all the pop-ups are OpenUI. Then don't look anything like Siebel Tools does. Yeah, and that goes along fine with the workflow architecture change that occurred in 20.7, where workflows are now full members of the workspaces. It behaves more like an applet or business component than ever before. Okay, I see some comments coming in from Guru. 20.6 onwards is more stable comparatively. All the prior versions have major defect bugs. 26 still has some bugs. Yeah, I can live with it. Yeah, sure, I'm not commenting on whether that's good or bad. It's a fact that software has bugs, as we know. And Siebel is no exception to that rule. And every update introduces new bugs and kills some bugs. So there's an equilibrium there, probably. And Jason says live on 20.9, looking at 20.12 or 21.1 for an update, targeting quarterly updates into production. Okay, that sounds really nice. Quarterly updates, really drumbeat. So sooner or later, you're going to have the WebTools workflow editor. Some rumors were there. The workflow editor in Siebel Tools is gone. That's not true. If you open Siebel Tools 20.12, you still have the workflow editor there and the simulator, which is still in Siebel Tools. So if you want to simulate a workflow, you have to use Siebel Tools. As of now, I think that in 2021, some update there between 2 and 12 will bring the full functionality of workflow into WebTools, but I'm just making an educated guess here. The REST API, that is the Siebel inbound REST API, for queries, you can now specify a sort spec query parameter, and works mostly like expected, unless you want to start with descending and ascending. You have to put these keywords after a colon. So there's a valid sort spec here on the slide, last name, colon, descending, comma, first name, colon, ascending. And that, of course, translates into a database query with order by, just as it would when you click sort in an applet, and you get the sorted results back. So that could be quite helpful. Maybe a quick go around the horn. How's your adoption of the REST API, of the Siebel inbound REST API? So any comments there? Are you using it for real interfaces? Are you, or just experimenting? Okay, Rajesh says using it for a couple of interfaces. Okay. Jason says one business service based API in production now. Yuris also says yes, we do. Seems that the REST API is getting some attention. Of course, it's relatively new. Well, it has been around for 4 years and more, since IP16, but of course, you have to upgrade to Siebel 20 first and then take new interfaces or migrate interfaces. So Christian says more one active project, all other projects still on Java connector architecture and web services. Yeah, so see that a lot too. Web services being slowly migrated to REST, but web services are still valid. Why change a running system? Rajesh says outbound REST API is still not completely matured. Yes, I won't comment on that on the record, but it definitely needs some work. And Guru says all our new inbound web services are REST. Okay, all old lightweight services are being moved to REST. Okay, that's quite a project here. Good to see that Oracle is well, putting effort into the inbound REST API. And if you followed Juris's webcasts that he did with regards to the Siebel Cloud Native architecture back in December, and they are on YouTube, then you might know that Oracle is up to something with regards to connecting to Siebel from an external application. And so we will, again, one bit of speculation is that we'll see a refurbished inbound REST API over the course of the next, well, let's say 12 months. And yeah, 20.12 also saw the premiere of sorts. It was a feature backout. That feature backout actually means a feature that was announced or already available as a developer preview is no longer available. And that is a first in Siebel 17 Plus. And the feature that was culled was the advanced constraint technology or advanced constraint engine, a quote from the deployment planning guide of 20.12. So this is a verbatim quote of what Oracle is saying. The Siebel constraint engine is no longer supported for Siebel product configurator as of 20.12. That means that the iLog engine, the existing Siebel constraint engine, is the product to go. I got information that Oracle acquired somehow the intellectual property of iLog and therefore has the source code and can develop it further. I have no details. I have contacted Oracle for an official statement, but have got no response. As customers, of course, you could ask Oracle, what are the long-term plans for iLog, etc. I'm particularly personally think the interesting part is what will happen to the cache, enterprise cache that was going along with the constraint engine. So the constraint engine required the enterprise cache if you wanted to install that developer preview. I did it once, and so they're intertwined, but they're separate products. And I see in 21.1, for example, the enterprise cache is still an option. Also contacted Oracle about what are the plans, and I got word that the new statement of direction is going to be out soon. So let's see just how this develops. Yeah, I see your comments here on that ACT was more promising, and some of you are disappointed. And of course, as always, when something goes away, there's disappointment. 21.1, that's just out, yeah, just a week or yeah, almost, well, yeah, it was last week. 21.1 highlights are not many, really. There's one which is very, let's say, specific, the renaissance of the Siebel help desk, or let's say the help desk related views, which are available in Siebel Call Center, for example, or Siebel ERM, Enterprise Relationship Management. I used to actually use as an employee, not enterprise, employee relationship management that I used as an employee back in the days at Siebel Systems. So those views have been converted to Siebel OpenUI. And what raised some eyebrows or pricked some ears is the certification for running Siebel on the Oracle 19c autonomous database. So that's the cloud version of that Exadata database, which is self-healing and so on. And one thing I found particularly interesting, because I was working on a problem, and is also telling us when there's a new release coming out for like 21.1, always carefully read the release notes. And the release notes tell us that there's a new parameter to actually prevent a long timeout on when there's more than one LDAP servers, so when it fails over. There was like a 20 or 30-second timeout, and now you can control that timeout. So that's just a glimpse into sometimes the changes are really small and they're really, but they're documented in the release notes. So read those release notes. That's what I tell people all the time. In case you don't know what help desk related views are, so Siebel has of course, service requests. We all know what service requests are. Help desk is really using service requests for internal help desk, like, tracking an employee's assets, like the phone and the laptop, allowing the employee to submit service requests to the internal help desk, and the internal help desk has views where they can work with their service requests, establish a knowledge base, establish a forms library with smart scripts. And not sure is maybe going around the horn again here with the audience. Is anybody using Siebel Help Desk or Siebel service requests internally? Holman says no. Juris says never saw one. Yeah. Uh, I would say I'm sharing this observations that it's not really widely used, especially was gone for a long time. Open your eyes out for how long? 7 years or 8 years, and it wasn't available, so it's probably dead. But nonetheless, Oracle has republished the help desk guide. So the one thing that might be exciting for some people who run, let's say, very heavy workloads, join in the chat if this is a topic that you're interested in. Oracle has announced this in the statement of directions for quite some time and on Oracle support. And now with 21.1, it's official that you can run Siebel on what is officially named the Oracle Autonomous Database Transaction Processing on Dedicated Exadata Infrastructure. So that's a name to remember. The acronym is ATP for Autonomous Transaction Processing. So this is the type, transactional database type, but it has to run on a dedicated Exadata infrastructure on a cloud managed system. So you can run it in OCI or you can run it in Oracle Cloud at Customer. Of course, the database has all the ATP or ADB features, self-driving, self-securing, self-repairing. There's a document mentioned on the slide where you can go further on Oracle support. What about this one? Is this for your project? Is this an interesting option? Jason says, DBAs are suspicious, but you will proof of concept it soon. Okay, yeah, I guess so, Jason, with the size of your database. Samuel, we have just moved to OCI, so you're running Oracle regular database on OCI. I read that. Remco says no. Holman says yes, very anticipated feature. Samuel says could be interesting because you've moved to OCI. And Christian says ADB can be a driver for upgrade and lift and shift to cloud. Yes, for sure. I think that's exactly why Oracle has pursued the certification of Siebel. And interesting developments. Now we just talk about, let's say, 8 weeks or 6 weeks of 2 updates, and there's so much to talk about and so many developments. Yeah, so that's I've seen a lot of comments about this. Thank you for joining in, like using the chat.
Hey, Alex, it's Jason.
Hey, Jason. Hi.
Hey, thought we might as well just speak using voice rather than chat. But
Sure.
no, you mentioned the script editor, and you know, as you well know, my opinion about it. But just to tell the group here that it's so much easier to use than traditional tools. The auto formatting, the different colors for the object types and so forth make it much easier to use. So I think everybody should look at trying to adopt it.
Okay, yeah. Thanks, Jason. Yeah, so that was a valuable comment. So, and a positive one at that. So, yeah, I think I agree very much. Having used it, not to. I'm not a script developer full time, but I've used it a bit, and I've noticed it's very easy to use, and especially you can avoid Siebel tools and firing up the developer web client. Waiting for the debugger to start, and that's really cool. Yeah. So
this is Chris. So
hi, Chris.
It's not specific for the 20.11 or so, but we started to use the incremental deployment with the SMA at one customer. And this is really cool.
Yes, sure, it is. Incremental migration.
Yes.
And I see that picking up as well as most customers starting asynchronous and doing full migrations first, and then they go synchronous maybe, and then they go incremental, and then you really see the full power of the migration app.
Yes, so the team was really exhausted and say, wow, that's cool, that's easy, and a little bit mind change, 10 years of Siebel migration, but the team was really...
Yeah. So the team was excited, I think we wanted to say.
Yes.
Exhausted is one thing.
Wrong word, yes. Excited, yes. They were happy to use it.
Yeah, sure.
It's fast.
Yes, it can be blazingly fast. Yeah, that's really true. And it gets better every every release, even the migration application gets some tiny little updates. For just thinking out loud, there was the move to the REST, using the REST API in full, not using a database connector anymore to read to those migration tables and write. That was in 20.10, I believe. So that's not really a functional move, but yeah, I'm gonna catch up on the chat a little bit. There's 17 people joined in, and you are chatting away. There is Rao's chat. Is Siebel enhancements still going to continue in the core product? Since now they are talking about cloud native architecture and all. Yeah, I think cloud native is another topic, and check out Juris's webcasts on YouTube on IdeaPort Riga. They have done a wonderful series of webcasts of adopting cloud native technology and learning about cloud native technology and what Oracle is up to. Oracle has also published the Virtual Summit videos. There are two great architectural videos. So there's a lot going on, but it's too early to tell. There's nothing to see, nothing to show, unless Oracle shows us. But there's something exciting is going to happen over the next months. So there will be announcements probably soon. But if I say something into the future, it's just guesswork and speculation. Przemek, I hope I pronounce your name correctly, says it's a pity that we need to use tools and web tools in parallel. Not everything's available in web tools. Example, database changes. Yes, of course, we're all waiting for the day when Siebel Tool says bye-bye. It's not coming anytime soon, I guess, but I think we're closer to the day when we say bye-bye to Siebel Tools than the day when we say hello to Siebel Tools. That's for sure. And Remco says we use SM, Siebel Migration. I think you use it in your projects. Yeah. Frank says hopefully we'll see web tools come up to parity in 2021. Yes, not just parity. We need more than that. We need enhancements, says Rao. Enhancements, amen to enhancements, Frank. And we also need workspace open UI files. Okay, this sounds like a wish list you should send in another chat to Oracle, but please do so. As customers and somebody who pays for the product, somebody who pays for support, you can drive Oracle into that direction. You know that. Okay, Juris says we might to wait for Siebel Cloud Native architecture. Okay. And Jason Maxura gives another amen for versioned OpenUI files. Okay, wow, this chat is keeping busy. And Guru says majority of non-repository should be part of workspace. Yes, like data maps. It is in the statement of directions. I think Oracle is working on that. So they're very busy down there. No clear vision on extensible objects. Yeah. Okay, so thanks for all this very lively chat. I'm very happy that you're... And I just wanted to show you what is available on my GitHub repository right now and what am I up to with the help, and this is a community effort. So with the help of Slava, who runs a very nice blog, xapuk.com, and Jason, who is here. With both, I've had regular contact, and we always talked about some features to make the developer experience a little bit better. So DX in developer experience. And I had some features already on GitHub, and Slava has put together a great set of features. And Jason recently shared with me a trace file reader in the browser. So I decided, why not give it a go and put all these features together in a single package, so to speak. And that package is, you see this blacksheep CRM on github.com. If you take a look, I've put a lot of stuff there, and which you might find useful or which you might find not so useful. And the latest project that I will talk about now in the next few minutes is devpops. Try to make a pun here with development and popular with developers, that's why devpops maybe. Please note it's strictly educational. So you if you download it and put it into your Siebel, you do it at your own peril. You're not gonna get any help from me if you screw things up. And yeah, I'm gonna show you around. There's also a video which shows an older version, but shows what this is all about. It has some CIF files you need to import. It's intended for developers. So what we'll see now is just for development environments. You shouldn't do this actually in runtime environments. So the first idea I had a long time ago was the fact that there is information in the database where you can see what are the latest in development environments, what are the workspaces, and what are the latest deployed changes, and so on. So these tables exist, and you might know about the standard view basis. This one, published versions in workspaces in administration application. So you might come across this view and wonder what it's all about. It's one of these tables actually, or two of these tables, where you see each version of main changes the published objects. So you see insert or update or delete on the published object. So Siebel is basically saving stuff to the database with regards to workspaces, workspace versions, objects, and changes. Also during the merge, when you deliver stuff, you get a lot of information written. So my idea was to make this a little bit more visible. So when you import the CIF files, you get a view, which is here. So this is a custom view I created. And this view is on top of some of these tables. The data available in a list applet and in an integration object, and thus in a REST API, so I can query it. So for example, you see the latest object that I changed was this business component. You see who changed it, what was the workspace version. So you can run a query in this list applet to find out the history of changes. If something has been delivered, let me find something that has been delivered. Okay, there you see in the merge object tables or the merge attribute tables come to life. Again, this is all just information in existing tables. I'm just visualizing it in a view, and the CIF files are on GitHub. Along with the view, we get an integration object. And now we can put this to nice use. For example, I can use it to retrieve a list of workspaces that are currently open. And I'm in Siebel call center, so I want to inspect a workspace. So for example, I have changed the column header to test, you see, for the location column in the account list applet. And I see I'm running on main version 10. So let's change that. I can right click on the cube icon, and that right click, of course, is custom JavaScript. And through the REST API, I'm retrieving that workspace information. So I see the latest and versions when you hover over it. And guess what? I can click any version and workspace and load it. So that's actually where Slava's code comes in. And we do a fast inspect. And so in main version 9, the label was site. So let's right click again. Let's maybe check out this edit in progress workspace. And that was the workspace where I made the change probably. And that's why it says test here. So this is in the Siebel application in the web client. And you can always inspect the workspace by clicking on the dashboard icon, finding the workspace, opening it, forgetting to inspect it, inspecting it, and it takes a lot of clicks really. And I always was under the impression it could be a bit faster, and that's the fastest possible, I think. Or do you think it could be faster? Holman says, very nice, thank you. Again, it's a community effort. So Slava, let me just quickly go to Slava's blog just to give him a hat tip and an honorable mention. If you haven't yet visited that blog, please do so. So Slava has a lot of exciting stuff here. Not enough time to really talk about all of this. Take a look. And he uses a technique called bookmarklet. So you can literally drag and drop stuff in your browser bookmark bar and use it and start using the code in Siebel right away. That's totally mind-boggling. And I've just adopted his code with his permission. Not stopping here with that information regarding workspaces. Let me go back to that. We can also run REST queries against the workspaces. So if I click an applet, if I click a link here, it's actually retrieving. You see, it does a REST call and retrieves the JSON definition of that applet in that workspace and version. Right? Of course, it's just JSON, so it's not pretty to look at. And if I do this with the other version of that applet, it opens it too, but in the bottom of the view, it is opened both side by side, and now I can compare them. So this is a very primitive diff. It's really just, okay, here it is. You see the only difference here is in the comments. It might need some work to really highlight the differences more. So that's something you can do with information reading from the Workspace API. And another thing I did, I'm showing here, but it's very obviously not supported to customize web tools, but I did it anyway. And so you can show for each applet, for each object, sorry, you can show, for example, here that a developer 2 is editing this in this workspace and version, and well, the same developer is editing the applet in another version, maybe another workspace. So this orange box with the 1 dot per developer per other person who is working on the same object is very useful, of course, if you're working on an object and you query for it and you see that popping up. Okay, so that is one part of the package, is this, let's say, workspace introspection features. And the other part of the package is this menu. There you see the bug icon, and that's the bug icon from Oracle, but reusing it here. So when the user has access to the dashboard icon, they get this bug icon. It's through JavaScript, of course. And so this is where all the utilities you can call from one single menu. So the first 3 is the X-ray, if you have ever used it, the blacksheep X-ray, showing business component fields on all the applets, literally changing the labels and display columns headers to showing business component field information. Let's go to another view where we can see this in action better. Yeah, so you see the form applet now has all the business component field information displayed. And you can toggle to show tables and columns, which actually retrieves information from the runtime repository using a business service. And that takes a while, but you see all the tables and columns listed nicely along here, or calculated fields at that. It's calculated, it doesn't look up the table. So that is a feature I developed years ago when OpenUI was young and I was younger. And it stopped working in Siebel 17 actually because of the runtime repository changes. And so I made it available again and put it into the package. So you can even turn it on permanently. So whenever you navigate to a view, you don't need to switch it on all the time. Yeah, see. Or you're busy downloading and installing that and you don't pay attention anymore, probably. So yeah, that's so Holman asks, what package can you find this feature? It's on GitHub. It's the devpops package on GitHub. And yeah, so Jason added the tracing feature, which is also quite interesting. So we have some options here. So we have a temporary path on the Siebel server where the trace file will be written. So it's a regular Siebel trace file. You can set it to retain the file, not delete it, set the trace type, SQL allocation, and add additional tracing, for example, presentation model events. So let's just save and start this here. And let's just do a bit of, let's say, navigation, and maybe an update. Save it. Yeah, now we can stop tracing and we can see the trace file. Here it is in a trace file viewer. Is all Jason's doing. Remco says, nice demo. You built a custom Delphi application. Wow, Delphi. I worked on Delphi like 25 years ago to retrieve column table data from the GUI. Yeah, this looks far better. Okay, thanks. Modified a little bit, like hiding the runtime tables or showing them, show the slowest queries, or there's no slow queries, show the statistics. Yeah, there was no really slow queries going on here. or just copy it into your clipboard and use it in an editor. So that is, Jason's trace file viewer. Thanks, Jason, for that.
Thank you, Alex. You have taken it and expanded it to be infinitely more functional. This is awesome.
Okay, well, just tinkering a bit. Okay, I was watching these live streams for launching the Starship, and they didn't launch it forever, and so I was typing along and coding along, and this is the result that you get from a scrubbed launch of a rocket. In the meantime, Rao sends a chat message. Anyone here know when the statement of direction for 2021 is going to be published? Something to really ask Oracle. I'm afraid rumors have it that it's coming sooner rather than later. They tend to come around spring. The one from 2020 is still valid, of course. So it's like it covers the 2 or 3 years. It's a bit ambiguous, it says in the text, but it covers more than just 2020. Well, there's the go-to for the view that works as expected, and anything below that you see in the menu is from Slava and xapuk.com. So some features of his website incorporated in this package, such as clearing various application caches in one go. Nice enough. Or about view on steroids, as we call it. Looks like the regular thing, but you can click something and it's in your clipboard. Very nice. You can right-click something and it expands. Wow. You can keep right-clicking and copy that stuff if you want in your clipboard. So again, that's kudos completely to Slava and his xapuk.com blog. So Rajesh asks, this tracing and the right-click all part of the devpops? Yes. Jason answers already. Yes. Enables right-click on the workspaces icon and the bug menu. It's quite straightforward to install, really. If you have any, so here just a quick walkthrough of what Slava has created. It's really mind-boggling. There's an eScript playground. There's literally a dialogue in your application, and I've written a very simple one. So just calling get profile attribute and logging it. So the log function, actually, when I run this, oh, syntax error. Nice. I know why. Probably you have to be in some regular view, or it's just the demo gods. Let's just run it. Yeah. Where's the business component? And the biggest business component needs to be in a CSS bootcamp, I think, or higher. So you see it returns Siebel administrator, so me.position. Of course, you can write any eScript snippet. You can literally copy paste in here or save snippets in a dropdown. Very, very cool. And also expression playground. This is the same principle, but just for regular, no, for Siebel expressions. And so that means you can pick a business component. There's only one. You can enter your expression. You can run it. Okay, you see, returns no because the current record is not starting with P. Let's change that to A. Let's run it. Returns yes. Okay, so you can test drive Siebel query language expressions in your browser. Yeah, that's it. The two there's a link to the Siebel Hub. There's a link to devpops. Yeah, that's what we what we do. And of course, it's why I'm showing you this. Of course, to encourage you to download and play with it, and maybe give me some feedback, what you like or what you want. Of course, I can take no liability whatsoever. It's free. It's educational code. It's not very pretty code. I admit that. It was haphazardly put together. And yeah, this. I wish Siebel had these features for, let's say, 10 times or longer, as Frank says. Agreeing with Frank here on his comment. Rao says, think a lot of new features can be created and made usable once Oracle releases the running same Siebel session, multiple browser tabs by clicking open in new tab. Yeah, not sure if that's coming soon, but let's see. So, and if you have or spot anything cool related to Siebel, something that you would share, drop me a note or fork it on GitHub, and we'll try to incorporate it here. So this should be a community effort. It is already, and it should be an even bigger community effort. So why not why not take fate in our hands a little bit and say, okay, why wait for something if we can have it today with a little bit of extra effort? Coming to the end of this Siebel Friday, Rajesh says, really good session today. Thank you very much, Rajesh, and a nice kickstart. Okay, kickstart into Siebel 21 or the new year. Okay, Remco says, really appreciate this initiative. Thanks, Remco. Thanks, Juris. Christian says, this is a good event. I will bring some cold beer, yeah, remotely. Siebel Maniacs. Oh, that's a nice name for the next Siebel Friday. Yes. George Jorge says, very amazing, nice custom features. Thanks, Alex. Thanks, Jorge. Siebel Friday is a great initiative. Okay, so that looks like that's it. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining. Was a great session. See you soon, and take care. Have a nice weekend. Stay safe. Thank you. Bye-bye.